What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to Cowboys News TV. I'm your host, Dave, and today we've got a mixed bag of news coming out of Dallas as the Cowboys prepare for a tough battle in Week 5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Micah Parsons and Demarcus Lawrence are both dealing with injuries, and while there's a glimmer of hope for Parsons, things don't look as promising for Lawrence. Before we dive into all the details, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on our beloved Cowboys. We're so close to our goal of 12,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can get there even faster. Every subscription helps us continue to bring you the best Cowboys content, so thank you in advance for being part of our community. Now, let's break down what we know about these two defensive stars. Micah Parsons, the three-time All-Pro linebacker and cornerstone of this Cowboys defense, gave us all a scare when he was carted off the field during the Week 4 game against the New York Giants. After an MRI, it turns out Parsons dodged the worst-case scenario, and his injury, while concerning, isn't as bad as it initially appeared. Stephen Jones, the Cowboys' executive vice president, told 105.3 The Fan, "I think Micah is week to week. Every player responds differently, so we haven't ruled him out for this week." That's right, Cowboys Nation, there's still a chance Parsons could suit up against the Steelers, which would be a huge boost to our defense. But even if he doesn't, there's a good chance he'll be ready for the Detroit Lions after our actual bye week. The timing couldn't be better for him to heal up. So, here's a question for you. Should the Cowboys play it safe and rest Micah until after the bye week, or should they let him give it a go if he's feeling good against the Steelers? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get a poll going. We'd love to hear from you. Unfortunately, the news isn't as positive for Demarcus Lawrence. The Cowboys' four-time Pro Bowler also went down with an injury against the Giants, and it's sounding like his foot injury could take a little longer to heal. Stephen Jones explained that Lawrence's injury is probably a little bit longer in terms of recovery time, and head coach Mike McCarthy added that both players are getting second opinions to determine the best course of action. McCarthy didn't sound too optimistic about Lawrence's return, saying both injuries are worse than anticipated, though he did confirm that neither player will be out for the season. But Cowboys Nation, this does raise some concerns for our defensive front. Losing Lawrence, even for a short period, could leave a significant gap in our pass rush, especially with the recent departures of Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler to free agency and Sam Williams going down with an ACL tear earlier in training camp. So here's another question for you. How concerned are you about the Cowboys' defensive depth? Do you think we have enough talent on the roster to weather the storm, or should the Cowboys be looking at free agents to bring in some reinforcements? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to cast your vote in our poll. As for who could step up in Lawrence's absence, one name to keep an eye on is Carl Lawson. Elevated from the practice squad, Lawson saw his defensive reps nearly triple in Week 4, going from just 8 snaps against the Baltimore Ravens to 22 snaps against the Giants. That's a trend we'll likely see continue as the Cowboys prepare to take on the Steelers. But Lawson isn't the only option. Phil Hoskins on the practice squad could be another player the Cowboys turn to for help on the defensive line. Additionally, moving Chauncey Golston back to defensive end could provide some much-needed depth. It's clear that defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy aren't going to sit back and wait. If they feel they need to bring in more help, don't be surprised if we see another veteran signing soon. Cowboys Nation, how confident are you in the depth on this defensive line? Should the Cowboys look to the free agent market for some experienced help? If so, who would be your top pick? We want to hear from you in the comments below. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Injuries like this are part of football, but it's how teams respond that defines their season. Both McCarthy and Zimmer have been around the league long enough to know that adaptation is the name of the game. And with these injuries happening early in the season, there's still time for the Cowboys to make adjustments. Despite the setbacks, the Cowboys have a huge opportunity in Week 5 against the Steelers. Pittsburgh is no easy opponent, especially with their powerful defense, but the Cowboys are coming off a solid win over the Giants, and if Micah Parsons can play, even in a limited capacity, That could give Dallas the edge they need. If Parsons isn't ready to go, the rest of the defense will have to step up big time. We know the talent is there, with guys like Osa Odigizua, Leighton Vander Esch, and Darren Bland, but without Lawrence and Parsons, it's going to take a team effort to bring down the Steelers' offense. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Can this defense hold its own without Parsons and Lawrence, or are we in for a tough battle? Share your predictions in the comments and let's get the conversation going. A quick reminder, if you haven't already, subscribe to Cowboys News TV and ring that notification bell so you're always up to date with the latest news and analysis. We're so close to reaching 12,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. Every subscription means the world to us, and we couldn't do this without the amazing support of Cowboys Nation. Now, as we look ahead to Week 5, one thing is clear: the Cowboys' defense is going to be tested. But this team has shown resilience before, and with Mike Zimmer at the helm, there's no doubt they'll be ready for whatever challenges come their way. Whether it's Carl Lawson, Phil Hoskins, or Chauncey Golston, someone is going to have to step up and make plays. Looking beyond the defense, there's also pressure on the offense to pick up the slack, especially if Parsons and Lawrence aren't on the field. We've seen flashes of brilliance from Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard this season, but consistency is key if the Cowboys want to contend in the NFC. Going up against the Steelers, who are known for their physical play and ability to get after the quarterback, Dallas will need their offensive line to be at its best. Tyron Smith and Zach Martin will play pivotal roles in protecting Dak and opening lanes for the run game. Speaking of the run game, Pollard has been a bright spot for the Cowboys, but is it enough? There have been rumblings among the fanbase that Dallas might need to add another running back to complement Pollard's explosiveness. With Ezekiel Elliott no longer in the mix, some have wondered if the Cowboys should make a move before the trade deadline. Names like Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs have floated around as potential targets, though pulling off such a deal would be complicated. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Should Dallas make a big splash to bolster the run game, or are you confident in Pollard, Rico Dowdle, and Hunter Luepke to get the job done? Drop your opinions below and let's keep the conversation going. On top of that, the Cowboys' passing attack needs to continue its upward trajectory. CeeDee Lamb has been outstanding, but what about the supporting cast? Michael Gallup has shown flashes, but fans are still waiting for him to return to his pre-injury form. Meanwhile, Brandon Cooks has brought speed and versatility, but he'll need to be more involved to stretch the field against a stout Steelers secondary. Tight end Jake Ferguson has also become a reliable target for Prescott, and his role could expand with each game. So, what's it going to take for the Cowboys to come out on top in Week 5? For one, they'll need to establish the run game early and control the clock. The less time the Steelers' defense spends on the field, the better. Additionally, Dak needs to stay clean in the pocket, avoiding turnovers and converting on third downs. We've seen how dangerous the Cowboys' offense can be when it's firing on all cylinders. Now it's time to prove that on a consistent basis. This game could also be a turning point for Dallas in terms of how they manage injuries throughout the season. If the Cowboys can pull off a win without Parsons and Lawrence, or with Parsons playing at less than 100%, it'll show that this team is built to withstand adversity. That's what championship teams do, right? They find ways to win, no matter the circumstances. So, Cowboys Nation, what's your score prediction for this week? Do you think the Cowboys will handle the Steelers, or are we in for a nail-biter? Let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're almost at 12,000 subscribers, and we'd love for you to be part of this amazing journey with us. As always, thank you for tuning in to Cowboys News TV. We'll be back with more updates and analysis as we get closer to kickoff. Stay tuned, Cowboys Nation, because this season is just heating up. Keep your eyes on the prize, and let's get ready to take on Pittsburgh.